Hey guys, this is the Prince of Macedon, and I'm doing a commentary video for Empire Total War multiplayer. This is a France versus Austria battle. I'm in command of the French, and my opponent is Spartan 120S in command of the Austrians. Let's look at my French army first. I've got, I believe, 4 units of Tiroleur, and I have them on both flanks here. And also on both flanks, I have 4 units of 6-pounder horse artillery, so 4 artillery pieces altogether. Then I have tons of line infantry. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units of line infantry. Here we go. Pretty sweet looking. Then I have my my cavalry reserve in the back here. It's composed of 2 squadrons of Cheval Léger and 2 squadrons of Cuirassiers. And I also have a general's bodyguard right here, smack in between my cavalry and infantry. Alright, so once the battle starts, I'm getting nailed by his mortars here, so I want to rush in my 6-pounders a little bit closer so I can use canisters or whatnot, or I can just exchange fire with his mortars. Alright, let's go look at the Austrian army of Spartan 120S. Alright, he has, I believe, 6 squadrons of cavalry. 2 of them are Uhlans. These are like lancers, kind of. Then he has, I believe, 2 squadrons of Cuirassiers. Then he has, what else? He has a general's bodyguard right here, where his general's at. And more Uhlans and Cuirassiers. And his other unit is a Hungarian Hussar. There we go. They got those tall helmets. Alright. Then he has 2 different teams of 4-inch mortar batteries here. One's right here, and the other is on his right flank in the forest. Then he has, here's a grenadier unit. These are really tall dudes. He has a few guard units as well, 1 or 2, maybe 3. Then he has tons of line infantry as well, just like me. Now, Austrian line infantry, they have 150 men per unit, whereas mine have 120. But I believe his guys have lesser stats, so it kind of compensates. Alright, then he has several squads of Jaegers, I believe 3 units of them, maybe 4. Then he has a Gerenzer unit right here, on his right flank. Alright, so we're advancing towards each other, and that's what I want to see in battle, are 2 armies maneuvering towards each other here. Here I maneuvered this far, and I'll be inching up again in a bit. I'm going to order my Tiroleur to plant their stakes here, hoping his cavalry would charge into my Tiroleur, but they're not. Instead, he's going to launch his cavalry on both flanks here. They're going after my 6-pounders. I was kind of careless with my artillery. Got them a little too close. But I'm going to try to counter him with my line infantry here. Alright. On my left flank, he's doing the same thing. He's launching his Austrian Cuirassier into my 6-pounders. And I have my line infantry close by for support, but he's rushing his line infantry in for support too. So it's going to be a very hectic fight from now on. Alright. On the right wing here, I got one of my 6-pounders into canister mode, and I took out a few of his horses. No, actually they missed completely. My bad. And here's my other team of 6-pounders. They are trying to run away from the battle. And they're pretty smart. Okay, during this fight you can see his mortars, like, launching into the air and crashing right into my troops here. The thing I don't like about mortars is that they have longer range than cannons, and I think it should be reversed. I think the cannon should have longer range than the mortars. But historically, the mortars were effective, but only once it got into close range. Alright, so he's launching his infantry into melee range against my line infantry here. What else is going on? Okay, on my left flank, I launched my cavalry reserves into his cavalry, and I'm driving them backwards. And these are my Cuirassiers, and I'm going to crash into his Uhlans, and what does he have? I believe Hungarian Hussars. So here's a big cavalry fight here. And I also launched my Lancers into his cavalry on my right. Lancers are pretty good, but I prefer my Cuirassier. Alright, so all kinds of action going everywhere here. And this is a very beautiful fight to watch when both sides are maneuvering. And that's what I like to see. Yeah, people won't complain if they get outmaneuvered and lose, but if they lose because of the opponent sitting on terrain advantage, then people are going to complain. It's okay to have diversity in maps, but it's also good to have at least one flat map for balance sake. Alright, so he's launching his guys into melee against my dudes. He's able to do that because his mortars have weakened the morale and depleted some of my troops in my line infantry. But otherwise, if he did that without weakening my guys first with mortar fire, then his guys would have probably perished. But my opponent was very smart in using his mortars to soften up my guys first. Alright. He is winning on my right flank here. Looking pretty bad. But on my left flank, I'm winning over here. You can see what's going on here. I'm using my Cuirassier to launch hammer and anvil strikes on his infantry. And I'm going to use my other Cuirassier and General's Bodyguard to launch into the rear of this line infantry unit here. And that's pretty much the rest of my cavalry, because my other cavalry, they bit the dust on the right flank. They were doing well until his mortars hit them. And then a combination of mortars and his infantry shooting at them routed them from the battlefield. So yeah, on the right flank, he is completely crushing my dudes here. Also in the center here, we're at a deadlock. I'm not sure why our guards are just standing this close to each other without taking action. It's kind of funny looking. But on the left flank, I'm winning here. The problem here is, although I'm winning on the left flank, like, I'm not going to have enough troops to counter the troops that are winning on his right flank. I got one last infantry unit here, and they're going to hold out for as long as they can. But this Austrian swarm is just too much for them. So they're going to be routing here in just a minute here. Oh, I actually managed to rout one of his units, and that was just his Uhlans. No major victory there, unfortunately. Alright, so I've won on the left flank. You can see his mortars, they're firing on both my troops here. And they're right here, one's in the forest and the other's in his rear. I wanted to take them out, but to do so, I would have had to have withdrawn my cavalry. And I couldn't really afford to do that. Not with the action this close. Alright, so here's what's going on here. He is bringing in his victorious right flank against my victorious left flank. And I don't have enough troops to counter his dudes. So it looks like my guys are going to pay the ultimate price for this. But, oh, look at his mortars, like, nailing my dudes here. But you can see I'm going to lose this battle. But it's glorious when both sides are maneuvering like this. So I have no complaints in this battle. Here's my Cuirassier. I'm trying to get them in closer to his dudes, but his mortars and his gunfire has routed them from the field. All I have left are these units of line infantry, but they have been shattered by the enemy. So you can see all those blinking white flags. Those are basically all mine. Alright, so that was a defeat. I killed 725 of his troops, but I lost 1,214 troops. Spartan 120S killed 1,092 of my men, and he only lost 804 troops. Anyways, after this battle, we played 2 more battles, and he won each of those battles. But those are very good games. I liked them because we both maneuvered against each other. And there was none of that camping on superior terrain to dampen the moods of these battles. So very good game to Spartan 120S.